Hello and welcome back to episode 2 of Judging Others. Last week we talked about judging those who are close to us. Oftentimes we feel a bit safer in our friend and family groups, and we actually tend to be more critical of those who are close to us. We can be that overly critical friend, the justification friend, or the one that I guard myself against the most, the hyper-focused friend, trying to funnel every conversation back to a point. When we act like these type of friends towards others, we aren't really being a good friend at all. We're being judgmental. So if you haven't heard last week's episode yet, I highly encourage you to go back and listen to it when you can. When we judge someone, we are deciding how we think and feel about them, and ultimately how we treat them. When we do this, we are distancing ourselves from others and from the perspectives that other people bring. And the ultimate conclusion is that the more we judge others, the more we judge ourselves. By constantly seeing the bad in others, we train our minds to separate ourselves from others. In that environment, one that we have the biggest hand in creating, the result is that when we push others out, we are pushing ourselves away from them too. We are creating our own sad island of perfection, one judgment at a time. So today we're going to focus on judging others who are far from us. When I use this term far from us, I am talking about someone you don't personally know. This is what is commonly referred to as social categorization. For what we are talking about today, I'm going to be basing the conversation on this definition. It comes from the International Encyclopedia of Social and Behavioral Sciences. It's this: social categorization refers to the classification of other individuals into particular group memberships based on characteristics deemed meaningful by society. So here are a few examples of social categories. They could be age group, gender, race. You see, I'm personally against socially categorizing because it almost always leads to stereotypical and evaluative biases. I'm also specifically talking about when we group people together and judge a group. We do that often. Don't we? We will group people together by the proximity of their location. Like saying, oh, those people from Wyandotte County. Oh wait, time out. Sorry, you don't know what Wyandotte County is? Okay, well, it's a place I lived in Kansas City. And I heard that term, Wyandotte County, multiple times a day. Someone would group together a bunch of people based on physical proximity. And in all the time I lived there, I don't think I ever heard a positive comment about Wyandotte County. Conversations I heard were often like, oh, Wyandotte County is making crime go up at the Walmart. Or something that I'm still really upset about, hearing around this time last year, oh, it's those people from Wyandotte County causing rioting. Have you ever heard terms being thrown around like this? All women are bad drivers. All blondes are dumb. Or, oh, the black kids, the Asian kids, the Latino kids, the Arabs, Middle Eastern people, the Republicans, the Democrats, the liberals, the LGBTQIA, Are you uncomfortable yet? Is it because I'm using socially categorizing terms of people groups? Or is it because you've done this too? I know I have. And I have realized over the past few years how wrong this is. Even if I'm trying to say a joke, social categorization is among the worst parts of judging that we can do. So I am committed to doing the hard work of stopping this judgment in my own life and in helping others around me to knock it off too. When we judge others, we are separating them from us. When we are saying we are over here and they are over there, aren't we ultimately really saying that we are better than them? And when we do that, who is watching us? Our coworkers, our neighbors, our kids, we have a heavy responsibility to be kind, to be empowering, to be good. So how do we knock off this devastating habit of judging others who are far from us? Well, I'm no expert in this area, but I am committed to trying my best, to continually finding ways to be an inclusive person, to treating people as people with respect and dignity and honor, even if I don't personally know them, by working hard to unlearn habits that have been too quick for me to fall into from the past. So here are a few things I've been working hard to implement in my own life, and I hope you will take some time to examine in your life today, and hopefully you can start incorporating them too. 1, realize you are part of the problem and commit to stop socially categorizing people. Let me use my 8-year-old son as an example here. He never wants to try anything new. He only likes chicken nuggets, macaroni and cheese, and chocolate milk. Anything else? He won't even want to try it. But then the other night, I made meatloaf and he finally reluctantly tried it. And guess what? He loved it. He said it's his new favorite meal now. It's like the age-old proverb, don't judge a book by its cover. So let me ask you this. Have you ever used the phrase, I'm not a racist? I know I have. But don't we almost always follow up that broad statement with, I am not a racist. I like black people. I have friends who are black. And there's my point. We just socially categorized an entire race of people. We need to pause. We need to investigate our own hearts, our lives, our words, our actions, and realize that even if we don't want to be, that we can be part of the problem. So use this realization. Use today as a light bulb moment to commit to stop socially categorizing people. 2, speak up when others are doing this. Whew, it's hard to be called out, isn't it? It's upsetting when someone says something to you in opposition of what you are saying. And it can be really, really scary to say something to someone else. But here is a great way to further a conversation and help someone in their own journey of learning to not be judgmental. Ask questions. If someone says something to you that's a blanket statement of socially categorizing, say, what do you mean? Can you explain that more? Help me understand. This will keep the conversation going and will probably lead to you having a chance to express how you are learning how judgmental these statements are and how you are trying very hard to knock off the judgment. 3, expand your knowledge. I tell the students I work with and my own kids as often as I can that I am still learning. That's right, I'm a lifelong student. Our minds are being continually transformed and renewed. I am not a person who knows it all or even comes close. Listen to podcasts, watch documentaries, read the newspaper, dive into a book, broaden your scope of learning. Don't shut the news off because it's upsetting. Learn from it. Find out what is going on and why. Then be a part of the solution. Don't be like an ostrich with your head stuck in the sand. Part of committing to stopping bad habits is the commitment to starting good ones. Commit to being a lifelong student. If you're still stuck and you aren't really sure where to start, shoot me a message. I'm on Facebook. You can email me. I can send some ideas your way. I can give you some podcasts to listen to. I know you can do it. No matter who you are, no matter how young or old you are, you can knock off the judging, especially people who are far from you. And the ultimate hope is that you would get to know those people and that you would love them, that you could extend love to them. Be sure to tune in next week as we'll be wrapping up our series on judgment with talking about judging ourselves. Thanks for joining us today, and thanks for wanting to do this important work of not separating others, of not judging others, but working hard toward loving others.